What's good, man?
Hello everyone, I hope you are having a fantastic day. OSW-Sim-Sports here, and as I will be doing the COTA 6 hours together with Nick from Blonde Piston Motorsport in a few weeks, we are having a practice race. Now, if you hear some voices in the background, I quickly want to mention that is Mythbusters. I just have it on because I'm ADHD head and I just need to have something going in the background to keep my attention going. And I'm also doing burnouts out of the pit lane in my outlap. As you can see, this is to get some temperature in the rear tires so I can overdrive the fronts on my outlap and get them up to temperature quickly. If anyone is interested in this, I will have a video coming up about tires. And here we go for the last push lap. I already had a nice banker in. Important to get a good exit out of the last corner heading into the straight as it is very long. Very weird, but you have to sometimes keep it in 4th gear here. This time I shifted up into 5th. Stay as wide as possible into the entry. Clip the apex. Go onto the throttle as early as possible. Sometimes even before the apex. Just keep it going here. Keep on full flat. If you lift, you lose time. And here you full send it in as much confidence as you have. And this part of the track is where I think I lose the most time, as I'm not able to confidently rotate the car. However, in this technical section I generally make up quite a bit of time, even with this big ass Mustang. And just look how stable this thing is. Even if you smack it over the curbs, as long as you keep the steering wheel straight, it is absolutely no problem and you keep the throttle floored. And also here you can see we are on the throttle even before the apex, which gives us a very nice run down the back straight. Now, as you can see, the previous lap was a 2:09.18. So at this pace, this lap would be a 2:08.9-ish. Which would be my personal best. So yeah, I was really pushing here and just hoping to bring her home cleanly. And into the very technical section, very important to brake deep here. Go late apex and onto the throttle as early as possible. Basically the same with all of the hairpins on this track. Here with the Mustang you want to stay tight so you can go early on the throttle, and as you can see we have quite a lot of slip angle on the car. We really rotate this car on the throttle and you have to be confident doing this in order to maximize your speed. Now I do mess it up a little bit in the last corner. I should have shifted down because my revs were too low. Generally you can keep it in 2nd there, but it's absolutely fine. We get a 2:08 and we are in 4th position currently. And as we take a look at the final qualifying standings, someone improved their time and we are starting in 5th position. And here we are for the race start. And I'm just warning you already, this will be a fuel saving race. So if you find it boring, you can click away now. But if you do actually like these strategic races, this is the race for you. As we prepare for the green flag. And there we go, in the middle of the corner. What a strange position, but we get a good drive out of the last corner into the first main straight. And we are basically already alongside the BMW of Mr. Garcia. We are on the inside, so if we play this smart, we should have the position covered. And we brake deep, of course, and as you can see, we do have the position covered. I messed up the entry a little bit into the corner, but with a small correction, I was able to keep it on the track. Now the cars ahead already have a small gap of like 1.2, 1.3 seconds. This is no real problem as they are still very close together. And as you are driving in a pack this close, you almost certainly lose a little bit of time. As you can see them squabbling ahead. And at this moment in time, I'm just very happy, you know. I'm in 4th position. My car is still completely clean, 0 damage. We haven't had any incidents and we didn't lose any major time. So I can just start focus on the fuel saving. And as you can see, big lift into the hairpin going onto the main straight. and we skip a lap ahead. And as you can see, the gap is still right about the same. I am saving fuel, and at this point I cannot be certain if they are saving fuel as well, because the margins in the percentages of the fuel in the top left hand corner are too small, but in a few laps we will get a good idea of who is saving and who is not. Now a little bit of background information about this race. If you do it correctly you go +4 or +5 laps with fuel saving, you will be able to essentially do a zero stop, which saves a ton of time, as the pit lane in COTA is very, very long, and of course on top of that you also have like 12 seconds of fuel adding. So yeah, that all adds up. So if you can actually pull off the zero stop without losing too much time by driving efficiently, you will be able to at least participate for the win. As we skip to the start of lap number 4, the gap is still about the same. There's no problem, as I am doing the fuel management. As we are now getting a better idea of who is saving and who is not. And as you can see on the top left hand side, I have the most fuel out of the top runners currently. As we skip ahead to lap 5, and as you can see, I lift so much going into the S's. Like, this part of the track is amazing for lift and coasting. If you play it smart, you almost don't have to brake at all. You can see it there in the telemetry. Here of course you do have to brake a little bit, but that entire part of the track you can drive it so efficiently and you save so much fuel doing it. While generally I only see people lifting into the hairpins on like these. Here we go into lap number 6. I am slowly closing the gap on Mr. McB, but we are still not exactly in striking distance. Now at this point it is very easy to get a little bit excited and to forget about the fuel saving, but I was keeping it in the back of my mind that I was currently leading on the fuel saving, so if I was playing it smart, I would be able to use my pace later on in the race when they would be struggling. And as you can see, a lap later we are already much closer to Mr. McB, whom I will call Mr. McBride from now on, as McB just sucks. As we are getting lapped by the hypercars for the first time, this is always a butt clenching moment, as they can, you know, send it on the inside where you don't want them to go. Like for example here, and I do have to lift, losing me a little bit of time, but nothing major luckily. And I really hate doing this, but if you made it 8 minutes into this video, please drop a like and leave a comment so the algorithm picks it up and it gets shown to more people. I've been having a lot of fun making these videos for you, which is also why I bought my new cam. I hope you enjoy this view from my POV, and yeah, let's go on with the video. And as you can see in the standings, we already have a 2% fuel advantage on basically everyone in the field except Nick Harper from Blown Piston Motorsports, who will also be my teammate, or at least I will be his teammate for the COTA 6 hours. So yeah, it is becoming more and more clear within this race that most people are just going for the one stop, or at least they will have to do a one stop, while me and Nick are targeting the zero stop. As we are getting passed by another gaggle of hypercars, which is also a butt clenching moment as he sends it up in the inside. But as you can see, Mr. McBride is getting blocked like crazy right now, which gives him a great run into going into the hairpin. I'm just looking like, where do I go? Okay, he sends me down the outside, no problem. I brake deep, stay on the outside, undercut him, boom, hard on the throttle. He has a bad exit. I have a little bit more speed than him, and as I'm slowly closing the gap, I am getting closer and closer to him to get a little bit of the side draft. But in the back of my mind, I know I am on the inside. He will also start fuel saving a bit, so I just lift. And he completely messes it up. Goodbye, adios, and I say tabe. Now Mr. Garcia is also very close behind us, so they will start squabbling a little bit now, which leaves me to just drive away. Awesome. And I just quickly want to mention the car I'm driving, the Mustang. What an awesome car. Of course, I have to drive it because this is an American track, so you have to bring the big SV8. You get a blessing. But while in most other sims, including especially ACC, I always found front engine cars to, you know, feel sluggish and heavy. As you can see, this one does not. It really wants to turn, it wants to move, it wants to slide, and it is just really lively and enjoyable to drive with. It is in that sense somewhat similar to the Aston, which, surprise surprise, is my favorite car in this game. As we skip ahead to lap number 10. So our fuel targets are all looking good and rosy. Ahead is Mr. Heaps, also in the Mustang, 2.5 seconds ahead, and it seems like he is on a different fuel saving strategy. It does look like he is saving some fuel, but not as much as me. As we go into lap number 11. Again, closing the gap, now 1.3 seconds, 1.2. As Mr. Heaps is also closing the gap to Mr. Parquet, a Frenchman in the Lamborghini, who is basically deciding to drive a full sand stint, at least judging from his fuel usage. So me being able to keep up with them, driving this pace while also doing the fuel saving, which even though I might be in third position, in effective positions, as long as I don't mess it up, I'm basically already in first. And here we have a closer look at the fuel percentages. And as you can see, Mr. Heaps is also fuel saving, but I think he's doing a +4 target while I am doing the +5 target. Because as you can see on the top right hand side of your screen, there were 29 laps estimated for the race, while we started with 24.4 laps of VE in the tank at the start of the race. As I get a massive slide on, and this is one of the dangers of this car. Like, it feels very nice and stable to drive until it doesn't anymore, and then you get a massive slide on, you have to catch it, and if you don't, you instantly spin out and, you know, you just lose the car. As we are now in lap 15, the gap is now 1 second. So it's just about staying closer, maybe getting into the draft. Lap 16. You can see the leader squabbling a little bit now. This is also losing the time, allowing me to close up. But in the back of my mind, I'm also just hoping a little bit for a mistake from one of them. As the Lamborghini goes quite defensive, staying on the inside there, blocking the inside line. And as you can see, I am more than happy to take advantage of this, as this is just losing them time. And with me driving this pace while doing the fuel saving, it is absolutely essential to make a clean pass if I go for it. I don't want to have any damage, I don't want to have any stupidity. So I'm just gonna stay smart and look for a good opportunity. As I get a slide on again, I am able to catch it this time. And just look at how close we are now. We are basically just 3 in a pack. And look here, I leave space on the outside, and even then, bonk, he just drives into me. You can see it in my face, like, why and how do you do this to me? And again, now he's fucking up the leader. Leader is costing massive amount of time. I have to stay smart. I was obviously looking for a opportunity here, but as you can see, the gap already closed again. And as the Mustang ahead also is in the draft, there's no real way to get a massive overspeed. And as you can see, even with massive lifts, if you do it correctly and you carry a lot of corner speed and you make sure to get on throttle nice and early, you don't actually lose that much time. Now in lap 18, Mr. Parquet got a little bit lucky with traffic, as Heaps is still behind this car, but he is still in range, and if there's any big mistakes like here, I will be able to take advantage of this. Obviously, I also have to keep my nose clean, and this is honestly the most important thing to not lose track of. As I now have 3% VE advantage on Mr. Heaps, which the later and later we will get into the race, the more this will become essentially a currency that you can trade in for pace. As we do a quick check if we are still within the fuel range, I was also just calculating in my head here. But I was also realizing that I was at a last lap risk, where you have to do the number 29th lap, and you obviously don't want to run out of fuel because you will get a DNF. So driving as efficiently as possible while still keeping the speed up is obviously very difficult, as you constantly have to judge your entry speed, and this is one of the moments where you can see how that can go badly wrong. I suddenly lose the car. I still don't know exactly what happened there, even on slow motion. Maybe the curb destabilized the car a little bit, but generally that should be fine. Like this time it just decided to slide and spin, and we are now behind the dangerous back marker again, and we have a 6.5 second gap to Mr. Heeps and Paquet. Now obviously you can see it in my face that I'm really frustrated with myself there. I had the win within reach, but I fucked it up, and now I have a massive recovery drive ahead of me if I still want to have a win or at least a second place. As we are skipping another lap ahead, this time into lap 21, we still have 8 more laps to go, and the fuel looks to be alright. Into lap 22 we go. The gap is slowly coming down. It is now 5.8, around 6 seconds. But I will have to rely on them either dropping a lot of pace due to them having to save. And as you can see, I do have a little bit of an advantage. Or they have to get in a massive squabble and start making mistakes. All there is for me to do now really is to keep driving efficiently and use my pace at the end of the race when I need it most. And while I'm closing the gap here, and I do have a second, I just want to quickly mention the reasons for me creating this YouTube channel. Now, I've been sim racing for around 20 years. I've been basically doing it all my life. GTR, 2, Gran Turismo, you know, there's not a lot of titles which I haven't played, to be honest. But sim racing is always so lonely, and I really want to overcome that by just building a smallish community, participating in other people's community, and instead of being just a hot lap merchant, I want to, you know, have a nice community vibe. Obviously this will take a long time to build, but I'm already seeing some returning names, and it is very nice to just have some positive people around you enjoying the same thing as you do, as there is already enough negativity in the world. And with that ramble out of the way, you can see in the standing Mr. Heeps has gotten past Mr. Paquet, and Mr. Paquet is really struggling on the fuel and his tires, it seems now, as he is massively dropping pace. I am wondering at this point, is he coming in this lap, or is he gonna try to extend and do one more lap? As it should be possible for him to do so, but he will most likely have to save. As he just goes deep into the hairpin, I say thank you very much. I'm going past. And I continue my crusade to Mr. Heeps. And I think he was starting to feel the pressure of being the leader and being hunted down by a guy with more fuel than him at this point. As he was starting to make small mistakes, dropping a little bit of pace here and there. And I was basically just smelling blood in the water. Now a little note on the mechanic behind the small colored rectangle next to the VE. As you can see, mine is green. This means I am safe and I don't really have to do any additional fuel saving in order to make it. My fuel should be enough to make it to the end. While for the others with the yellow bars next to their name, they are in the range where they are at risk of not making it, but they can still do so by managing the fuel. And then you have the red bar next to Mr. Paquet's name, which basically means he has to pit and he has no other choice. As Mr. Heeps in front of me is getting dive bombed by an LMP. Let's see if he loses a lot of speed out of the last corner, and no, it is actually fine. So the gap is now 0.8, 0.7, something around that. From here we should be able to take an advantage of any mistake he has. And as I have more fuel than him, I should be able to push a little bit more. And it is all building up to the crescendo of the race, as this was essentially my plan all along. Like, save more fuel than is even required so I can push a little bit more at the end of the race and just make sure I am in the lead in the last lap, because that's when it matters. And as you can see, the hypercar got past me quite cleanly, but he is having a squabble here with Mr. Heaps. And oh, you can see it loses him so much time. What is this Lamborghini guy doing? Oh, and I just send it up the inside. I say thank you very much. And I do think at this point the Mustang realizes, and I am also just having a lift. I know he has to save a ton of fuel if he wants to make it, as he has 3% less than me, which is a ton. It might not seem like a lot, but it is a lot. So from here on out, I essentially knew I got it all under control, just bring it home. He will have to save more fuel than me, which will allow me to drive faster than him. So basically the win is already in the bag, as long as I don't make any mistakes. And as you can see also in the standings now, Mr. Parquet has done his pit stop, and you can see how much time you lose with it. Nick Harper has now passed him in the standings, as Mr. Parquet lost about 30 seconds by just having a quick splash and dash. As I am still managing the fuel here, I am not sure yet, like, will we have to do an extra lap? Will we have to do lap 29 or will it be lap 28? If it would be lap 28, I was quite certain that Mr. Heaps would start pushing, but I was also quite certain that I would be able to have him covered. As we don't get the instant one lap to go, which most likely means that we will have to do the lap 29, which means I have to save a little bit more fuel, because as you can see, I'm on 1.9 laps VE, and you really want to cross the line with more than 0.1 left, as otherwise you get a penalty. As Heaps is now also in the red, which might mean he will have to pit. I am still in range, so just bring it home, no mistakes, no stupidity. And strangely enough, for me personally, this was actually the calmest moment of the race, as I just felt I had it all under control. I already had the stupid mistakes out of the way, so yeah, I could just focus on keep driving this pace. It was quick enough, I didn't have to go any faster, and I was pretty certain I was able to keep her safe while doing so. As we get a nice exit out of the hairpin, and you can see we slowly start driving away from Mr. Heaps now. Having a deep breath to stay calm and to keep it all under control, as I am keeping my eye firmly glued to the fuel in order to make sure I can do lap 29. And look at the radar, Mr. Heaps almost runs into me. I was just able to dive down to the left, as he was able to dive down the right, and we barely missed each other, thank God. That could have been the rear wing gone, and that would have lost me the race basically, because you know, finishing from there is just very, very difficult. But luckily we both survived, and I now have a 1.5 second gap to him. And as he has only 1% fuel left, will he be forced to pit, or will he be stupid and keep driving and grant Nick the second place? As there is a Lambo ahead of me waiting for me to pass him, as he doesn't want to do another lap. At least I think so, because why otherwise you would be driving so slowly. And here you can see Mr. Heaps goes into the pit lane, which essentially means I have won. I will have a 25 to 30 second gap on him. I still have 1.0 fuel left in the tank, so at this point it is legit just bringing her home, and I have got it in the bag. So yeah, after a few ups and downs, and honestly a lot of fuel saving and very efficient driving, it all paid off in the last final laps. As we see the first finishers coming across the line, and Nick Harper from Blown Piston Motorsport in third place, as he gets a great finish, great result with the 0 stop. We later had a chat, and he was doing the +4 laps fuel saving target, so he was actually very, very glad to be able to finish in third place and finish that lap. As you can see just how slowly I'm going, it doesn't matter anymore. I have 25 seconds ahead of me. I just want to bring her over the line with more than 0.1 of a lap in the VE. And here we go, here we go, here we go. After 60 minutes of racing, we end in first position. And of course, it is always important to say good race to each other, encourage each other to stay clean and keep battling. And even though I know it's like very minor, I do think this stuff is part of racing etiquette. And there we go, the final standing. Blown Piston Motorsport in third place with me in first position, which is a very, very good sign for the upcoming 6-hour COTA race, in my opinion. Now we have decided to run with the BMW, so I will have to learn that car, but no problem. Now, if you have watched this far and you haven't yet clicked the like button or left a comment, what are you doing, eh? But I wish you all a fantastic day and I hope to see you all later. I have been OSW-Sim-Sports. Ciao.